Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Faithful Dawgs. I'm Ted, the 49ers faithful side of the equation. This is Big Mike from the Man Cave 10, the Dog Pound Cleveland Browns side of the equation. How are you doing this fine Thursday, Mikey?
I'm all right. It's a long ass day.
No doubt about it. I hear you 100%. I'm
I can
glad you're
see I can
here.
see the Super Bowl hangovers all still with you, huh?
Well, you know what I've been telling people? It's kind of sad, but I'm getting kind of used to it. It used to be like every time we went, we won. Now it's kind of like every time we go, we lose. I don't know. Call us the Buffalo 49ers. I don't know, but
No,
not quite
no.
yet. Not quite yet. But I mean, it's starting to get that way a little bit. I mean, a whisker. Anyway, so I'm not as shook up over it as some people. I mean, I said all along, I didn't think we'd win the Super Bowl. I didn't think we'd be healthy enough. Turns out we were healthy enough, at least to start the game, but then we were dropping like flies in game. And, like the whole Dre Greenlaw thing, I was like, oh man, that came out of nowhere. And then I remembered, oh shit. Sorry. Oh darn,
You're allowed to cuss, Ted.
I'll just try not to. He, had an Achilles tendonitis. That's why he missed the Rams game, and he was questionable for maybe the Lions or Packers game. I forget which one, or at least that week he was held out of practice for it. So not completely out of the blue as it turns out.
It's
But
just crazy how he was jumping up and down and then bam.
yeah,
No
jumping up and
good.
down. Yeah. Awful. I can't help but think that the shoddy practice surface that they practiced on in Vegas, I'm not gonna say it caused it, but I'm gonna say it easily could have contributed to any lower body injuries. And then upper body injuries, if you're not going full speed, you can't really get the upper body going either. So, and the way I know this is because of going out to the pump track with my son. Like all of a sudden, like my whole upper body is just been worked out from doing the bicycle jumps, and you can't do it unless you're going full speed. It just doesn't work right.
Yeah.
So, same thing for football. So I think anyway, I don't know. I've never played pro football, but I did play high school. So there you go. Let's see here. We got some folks in the audience. We got Daniel Berry Sports Highlights in the house. Check out his channel. He's a Rams fan, but he's actually pretty cool. Bryant Culp came in yesterday. Smash the like button, everybody. My Wednesday co-host Aaron Labigan has stepped away from YouTube, and he deleted his, or at least put his Twitter X account on hold at the very least.
Really?
Yeah, he's done it 2 times before in the past, but he seems to be maybe more upset than ever. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
All over the loss?
No, he was
Oh,
talking
all right.
about
I
it.
was like, man, hold that's a
No,
scream.
he was talking about it all season, or maybe not all season, but a good chunk of the season. So it had nothing to do. I mean, the Niners losing sure didn't help anything, but he had been letting some of us know a while back that he was thinking about it. And this is actually the third time he stepped away. So hopefully he'll come back again like he did the other 2 times. But I can see his frustration. He feels like the big content creators don't really want to share the pie with the small little guys. And I don't know. I found that they've been pretty helpful with me. Most of them have agreed to collaborate with me, come on my show or have me on their shows. I think you just have to be careful not to ask too often. I towards the end of the season, or most of the season, I was mostly working my regular shows and behind enemy lines shows. But now I've been reaching out to a lot of Niners content creators to kind of try and start getting that going again. Maybe look for another Wednesday co-host at some point. So we'll see. I think my Monday co-host too, Pedro, didn't sound like he was too eager to do a lot this off season either. So a little more time on my schedule for streaming. We'll see. Got Jimmy Perez in the house. Says, "Sup, Mike, Ted, and Mike. Sup, Jimmy. Thanks for being here."
Hey, listen, man. What do you mean by big content creators?
Well, the big guys like Grant Cohn, like Brad Graham, like Rob Stats Guerrera, Ryan Hensley, Jesse Naylor, Vish.
And why are they
Uh,
big? Because they just got a lot of followers.
yeah, they got a lot of subscribers on YouTube, essentially. So
So why don't y'all just go take that shit?
that's sort of what I say. I mean, it's like I think there's nothing keeping you from you know doing a better job yourself. And I should talk because I mean I have way less subs than Aaron even has, but same time I've only been doing this for just a little over a year, so I'm giving myself a little more
Yeah,
runway before I start beating myself up too much. And also, I know that by not doing hot takes and clickbaity type stuff, it'll take me longer to grow. But I'd rather grow more naturally and sustainably with a solid foundation. So,
what you need to do is you need to do some reels.
you mean some shorts?
Yeah,
And
shorts, reels, whichever one. Do
well,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
I reactivated my TikTok account, so
See, we'll do that. Then,
and I
like,
noticed.
did you ever pick a thing to use for the clips?
Yeah, well, were you the one who told me about or
Opus or whatever.
yeah, it was like one letter from being a different word. But yeah, you sent it to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that,
I was looking at. I'm going to look at that, and then I also have like a person that my wife contacted who's like her husband's like a big social media promoter or whatever, and
uh-huh.
she recommended two or three other ones that automated services that
Yeah,
clip out your long
munch.
form
Yeah,
into shorts, and then you just pop those up onto YouTube Shorts and TikTok as well.
yeah,
So yeah, no, I definitely plan to yeah, octopus. There you go. So it's like
yeah,
octopus, but there's
yeah.
no
That's what
T
I. Yeah, when I had it,
without
I
the
was
two,
messing
without the
with that. Yeah.
toe. Yeah, yeah, octopus. Yeah, no, I'm gonna check them out for sure. I just I was pretty busy leading into the Super Bowl. Yeah, she's like, do all this stuff, do this, do that. And I'm like, man, between like take care of my son and my shows I already had set up, I had really no chance to get anything rocking and rolling before the Super Bowl.
Hey, believe it or not, use your son in some of them clips.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when you're doing stupid stuff outside running around, do some short little thing and have him involved and have him say something. Watch how fast the clicks come.
Yeah. So I'm trying to avoid leveraging him. I know he's super
Not a lot.
cute and
It's
all
just
that.
in listen, you know what people want to see more than anything? They want to see your life.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
they want to see the sports side, but they also want to see your real life, like you going through the shit and all stuff like that. Like they want to know that stuff. It's people are a reality show world. This is what this is anymore.
Yeah. I got some good footage of him at the pump track today for sure. Launching off the main at first where you start out is a little bit higher than all the rest of the humps. And so he was starting out on one of the lower humps and going around, and now he's launching in. I was like, dude, just ride into it. You'll be good. And he did. And it's like, oh, so
Yeah,
proud. Yeah,
good.
no, so I should probably include Ford in it. He's definitely very marketable. There's no doubt about that.
That's
But
what I'm saying. And use them for
we,
the sports stuff. Like
we're
do a
just
big
trying
one.
not to like give him a big head and have him be like conceited and you know what I mean? Like, because the kid's super cute and he's witty too. Like, I mean, he's sweet. He's like, we just don't want to screw him up, by like getting him too involved in anything like monetary or where there's other people like telling him how great he is.
Might make millions of dollars. He won't
Uh,
be too screwed up then.
that's what does it, man. It's the money screws everybody up.
All money does. That's why you make
Money
sure he
changes
understands.
everything, my friend.
It's a raising thing. You'll be all
Yeah.
right.
Edgar Discoli in the house, same bros and channels. What's up, Edgar? Red Jet Shell in the house saying, hey, chat. What's up,
What
Red
up,
Jet?
Red Jet?
Nice to see you. So yeah, no, that's good advice. I definitely need to do it. I've been told by 60,000 different ways from Sunday that TikTok will lead to subscribers on YouTube. I just got spooked by it. I told you what happened. Like there was a bunch of Niners creators who got hacked, and I was just like, oh well, TikTok's a direct competitor of YouTube, so why wouldn't they mess with your YouTube accounts? I don't know, but it seems to have not happened anytime recently, and I was probably just being paranoid. I just don't like giving them access to my pictures and my camera and my mic. But I guess you can turn that off in between. It's just kind of a pain clicking through that all the time in your settings. But whatever. What are you gonna do? Brian Colt, fire everyone.
I know, fire everyone.
I know that's not real. Bryant is definitely not that kind of person. He is Mr. Calm, cool, and collected. Mr. Fight for the underdog. Fight for Moody, special teamers. Sam Darnold. But I would like, more accountability. Well, so all right, so we talked about Steve Wilks fired. Let me get the show going too as well. Like, everybody make sure we're streaming to TED Talks Ball and to the Man Cave 8172 also. That's Mike's channel. So make sure you check us out. If you're on a browser, you can open up 2 tabs and watch both shows at the same time. It really helps us out. But I was going to say on my channel, and I'm not even there, so whatever. I was saying, do you agree with the Wilks firing? Essentially, like, what do you think? Because a lot of people have different opinions as to whether this was the right thing to do or not. So
it's a scapegoat. It's all it is. I feel like he's that dude. Like, there's people out there in the world, that will go to jail for you because they just live in jail and that's where they want to go. You ever seen Breaking Bad? Well, remember that one episode where they hired that guy? He said, "I'll take the fall and act like I'm Heisenberg." He was just some older dude. They were calling him Johnny Fall Guy.
Right.
That is exactly what Steve Wilks is everywhere he goes. He's there for a year or two, and then he gets fired and blamed for the whole shebang. The Panthers, the Browns, where else? Well, he was a couple other places. The Niners,
the
Arizona.
Cardinals.
Yes. So he's
Josh
like
Rosen,
the fall guy.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. And it sucks that he is because, again, I think he could be a good coach. I mean, your team's defense was in the top 5 all year long. So it wasn't like, oh, the scheme doesn't fit. Well, what do you mean?
But part of the reason why the defense was so good was because we were way ahead in games and nobody could run the ball. As soon as
is that a Shanahan problem?
They gashed us once they could. Hey, your buddy Bobby G in the house.
What's up, Bobby G?
Listen,
you know what my problem is everybody asks me. I've been asked this question all week long. When did you feel the Niners lost the game? At first I was like, at the coin toss. I feel like they should have gave the ball to Pat Mahomes and let him see what he was going to do. If he would have scored the touchdown, then you have 4 downs every trip to do your thing. You're not limited, even though they could have just went for 4th down anyways instead of kicking the field goal because I think was it 4th and 3 or something. But I think they lost it when the 2 drives after the half and they threw the ball 6 times. They didn't run the ball 1 damn time. I'm like, why are they not? They're up. Why aren't they running the ball? Like, they just decided to throw.
Because it's Kyle, man. Kyle always forgets to run.
Yeah, that's where they lost, because if they would have ran, it would have ate some clock. McCaffrey's gonna get his, even though he only had 80 yards, but it's still gonna work. And I feel like that's where it really messed up because he went away from the bread and butter. Got to keep churning. Listen, it takes a long time to make butter. You got to keep churning and churning. Yes, it was slow. He had a fumble, so dang, you had to start over again. But once you get going again, it churns fast, and then he'll start knocking it through. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like Dan Orlowski said, if the Niners couldn't get a win on 1st down, it was going to be tough because the Chiefs' defense was the best percentage on 3rd down.
They were really good, no doubt about it. So we got Grant Schick in the house. What's up, Grant? Welcome. I quote tweeted CMC MVP today. I did it all season long, and there's another tweet that made me want to say it, which was ML Football tweeted that historic Christian McCaffrey, the first player ever to have 80 plus rushing yards and 80 plus receiving yards in a Super Bowl. So historic, and I think he was the season MVP. And if we had won, I mean, you could make an argument for Juwan Jennings, of course, he was balling out, but CMC would probably have to be the MVP there too. Bryant Culp says, win or lose, I didn't think Steve was going to return. I think if we won, he would have. I think,
Yeah, it's kind of hard to fire people after you win something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Unless it was a mutual thing and he wanted to go somewhere else, so you guys let each other go, not just, hey, you're out of here.
The punt muff was what did it for Bryant. Oh, that reminds me. I didn't share mine. When did I know we were going to lose the Super Bowl? When we had to run a trick play to score. That's when I knew. That was not a good sign at all to me.
I thought that play was great.
It was
I was
great.
like, holy shit.
I loved it because I was at the Super Bowl party and I was like, oh man, I've been talking about, John Jennings throwing pretty much ever since we drafted the cat, because he played some Wildcat at Tennessee. And I've always talked in my shows about how all our weapons pretty much can throw the ball. I mean, we've seen Debo do it. We've seen CMC do it. Never really seen Juice do it, but we know he's been the emergency quarterback kind of forever.
Yeah.
It's just like Kittle and Ayuk are the only two that I had maybe some doubts of whether they could. But I've been dying to see Juwan Jennings throw the football since we drafted him. So I was glad to see that. But I also got to meet John Pay at this Super Bowl party I was at, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
The old Stanford QB. He actually got a ring. I didn't notice it till a while later. He kind of flashed a little bit. But he was like, yeah, when I was on the team, and I'm like, you're on the team. I'm like, what's your name? He's like, John Pay. I'm like, oh, jeez, I used to watch you at Stanford all the time. It turns out he's a coach nearby where I live at the Menlo School. Also, he coaches a girls basketball team there. Steve Young's the flag football coach there, and John Pay's the basketball coach. So got some good. It's crazy some of the coaches in our area, because you got Steve Young, you got Andrew Luck. And then also Alex Smith now lives in the area too, and he's coaching a high school football team around here.
And you must live in some nice, Jesus,
near Palo Alto, yeah, near Stanford. So yeah, it's a nice area for sure. The peninsula is pretty nice, almost wherever you are on the peninsula between San Jose and San Francisco. It's all pretty nice. You got to say so. Grega John says hi. I don't think I've seen Grega before, so welcome if you're new. Welcome either way, but special shout out if you're new. Carcast in the house. Make sure you check his podcast out, his YouTube channel. Someone was saying, maybe Chardal recently was saying, congrats on 500. If that's the case, big congrats, Carcast. That's a big achievement. So well done there. That's really cool. And they needed to run more screens. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen one screen to Debo at least. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Say yo-yo. That ball was in the air for an eternity on the fake when Juwan's throw to CMC. It seemed like
there was only one other player that caught a touchdown and has thrown a touchdown in the Super Bowl, and that was Nick Foles.
Yeah, right. The Philly special against Brady. That's pretty crazy. Like and subscribe. Yeah, not just to me, also to Big Mike. The link to his channel's in the description, but it's the Man Cave 8172. The Man Cave 10 there. That's his X and Twitter handle. So check him out there as well. Give him a follow. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we say, when did you know it was over? But let's be honest. I mean, it was a great game. It really wasn't over until the very last play. It's interesting that it was Mecole Hardman, the guy who tore us up in 2022 with 3 touchdowns, kind of similar goal line touchdowns. They were more like jet sweeps, but, and also another big one I'm going to take a victory lap on is I called MVS as the, my X factor for the game.
That was great. He got wide open.
First touchdown of the game. I said, if he can keep holding on to balls, that could be how they beat us, because he, throughout his career, most of the season, it was like Butterfingers. And all of a sudden, Bills and Ravens, he's got these big catches. They're actually both 32 yards. I realized when I wrote my article, I did the research, 32 yards each, and they both salted away those games. And I was like, man, I hate to be right about that when I was at the party. I was like, ugh, bums me out. But, it is what it is.
I said the under, and it was under. My whole thing is I said Nick Bosa would be my X factor, and I mean, how can you be the X factor if you're held the whole time?
He still did a great job. He did a good job.
He did everything.
I'm not going to, the mush rush. So how many times have I talked about that? Don't go past the quarterback depth.
Yeah.
He really didn't. And Chase Young did really well too.
Yep.
He
Chase
was
did
one of
show
my
up.
X factors in the wrong way in my article. Like he was one of my weak spots on the team. Chase Young, Ambry Thomas, Jair Brown, McKivitz, and then Burford. I was hoping we'd start Feliciano, and now you can see why. Follow both content creators. Yes, please. Thanks, Red Jet. Appreciate it. Kenny for our Culp, got to meet him yesterday. So I did an open mic show yesterday during my slot, my 3:30 slot that I usually do with Aaron for First and Ted. And Bryant Culp came on. Kenny Culp came on. Chardall was on for a minute, but then he had to go. So draft time. Yeah, we should probably talk some about draft priorities, but I don't feel like we've totally wrapped up the Super Bowl, have we? Or is there I mean, first of all, like rolling into it, you were kind of like riding high on Brock Purdy. I don't think he did anything to like
No.
discredit himself other than
No.
the batted balls, but he played well. I don't think there's, if I was still doing my rankings, I wouldn't move him up or down after that game. I had him pretty high already. I'm still not ready to call him elite. I will say that. Like RG3 said he was the best quarterback this season. I was like, dude, I think some people are some people are very slow to say that. I'm like, I'm very, very slow to say that Brock is the best quarterback because the best quarterback is Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yeah, Patty Mahomes is.
Yeah.
Kermit. Listen, Kermit put on the greatest Muppet show we ever seen. You got to think it was Kermit out there. You had Kelsey as Fozzie Bear. You had Andy Reid as the chef we can't understand. Then you had Taylor Swift as the pink Muppet with the blonde hair and the big lips. I mean, so you had all the Muppets. They were all out. Gonzo was even out there. I mean,
Miss
MVC
Piggy
was out there running around.
Miss Piggy. Oh man. Also, real quick, I probably should have mentioned this earlier in the show. Thoughts and prayers to everyone involved in the mass shooting in Kansas City. Obviously, that's a big deal. Real bummer for Chiefs fans that their celebration had to be marred by that. And it's just a bummer for all Americans that we have to deal with this kind of on a daily basis. I don't want to get into a political diatribe about it, but it's a shame how regular it's become in our country.
And that is the problem. And it's becoming regular at sporting events because something happened in Denver, even though they say it wasn't related to the parade. Texas Rangers, something happened there. Then you have this here. It's like, come on, man. Sports brings every race, every nationality, everybody together. This is what sports does. Whether we're fighting each other and arguing it's about the game. It's not about each other. It's about the game all the time. And this is the problem. Stupid stuff like that.
No doubt. It's senseless is what it is, no doubt. And it's a bummer for sure. Red Jet says San Francisco has tough 2024 season. We got the Lions, Cowboys, Packers, Bills, and KC. Some good teams.
Put the Cowboys in there.
They're not tough for us, but they're
right now,
tough for other teams in the regular season.
If they get Saquon or Derrick Henry, fine. I'll agree. That's tough.
Are they trying to get both? Really?
They're trying to get one of them, and to be honest, they need to go after one of them hard.
I hope they get Derrick Henry and not Saquon because Saquon has a lot of tread left in those tires, and he's more versatile. I fear Saquon more than Derrick Henry at this point.
Well, plus, and that's they would need to keep Tony Pollard if they got Derrick because they need that RB2 to switch on and off with Derrick. But if they got Saquon, they wouldn't have to do that. But I feel like Saquon may not want to go there in the division because I don't think he has ill will towards the Giants. So I feel like he'll go outside of it and go somewhere else.
I see. All things equal, but may not be equal. I mean, if there's big dollars, it's hard to, that goes a little sometimes beyond loyalties when it's generational.
But you also know the Cowboys' history. Great regular season.
Oh, look at this. Daniel Bear Sports highlights. Kyle Shanahan should be the one that's fired. I mean, I can understand why people say that, but man, if you just look at Andy Reid, how he started out, and Andy was Kyle until Kyle passed on Mahomes. And Kyle may have his Mahomes in Brock Purdy. Now, again, I'm not saying Purdy is Mahomes. I was just saying he's not
Might be the
I hate-
quarterback,
I don't think he ever will be,
quarterback
but
of the future
but
for
he,
the Niners.
yeah,
Is what you're
but
saying?
somebody trusts enough to be
Yes.
able to do it, and they can run everything, and clearly Brock Purdy can still improve because he still hasn't had a full offseason as a starter yet. I mean, last offseason he was
Injured.
injured. Yeah, he was rehabbing. He was not himself at camp. I was there. It did not look good. And yeah, and also Trey Lance was around, which was a huge distraction. Now there's zero QB controversy. He's the man. So I expect him to. I mean, it's possible he could regress. Anything's possible. I just don't see it. I see him taking another step. Maybe not a leap like this year, but I'd take a moderate step forward.
Listen, Kyle's got 2 years. 2 years left.
There you
He's
go.
got to win in those 2 years. If he doesn't, then yeah, he'll be out of there.
Which means really he's got to win in 2024.
Well, I mean, no, he's got 2 years left.
When,
Period. I mean,
actually, that's not true. That's not true. You're right. In 2025, Purdy will be on a deal, but it'll be like that first year still won't be that painful because it'll be backloaded. So, yeah.
but like you said about the Andy Reid thing,
25.
they were both on the same track, except for Andy Reid didn't go to the Super Bowl as early as Kyle did and lose. It was lose, like 4 losses. Then he won. Andy Reid finally won his first one. So they're mirroring each other on how they're doing things. So next year is supposedly going to be it if that's how it's working.
There you go. Well, I mean, it was quite a few years later when Andy Reid finally got it together in KC after the initial 7. But yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to watch. I will say this: like one of the big Rams guys, Jake Ellingbogen, was saying something like, "Oh, is anybody else turned off by Kyle, firing a defensive coordinator, who is minority essentially?" And I was just like, if it turns off a Rams fan, honestly, it kind of turns me on. So, that's just how I feel about it. If you want Chicago fired Daniel Berry, then it probably just makes me want him even more. But not to be rude or just contrary, but it's just in general, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And even though like you're cool, let's make no mistakes, you're a divisional rival. So you are, at least a regular season enemy. Also, with regards to Steve Wilks, because you talked about that some, I never really chimed in on it. I mean, I've gone both ways on it. I defended him some this season, but I think part of it was like I was going off results and I wasn't aware how much Kyle was actually having to do of it. Like Kyle actually has been stepping in and doing a lot of the defensive coordinator work. And so some of what you see he did. And then also, like I said, a lot of the run defense was never exposed because we were front running and leading by so much against some of these teams. And so like the whole bringing them down out of the box, that was a bad sign right there. That was sort of like come down or else. And, and obviously the 2 playoff games leading up to the Super Bowl was pretty good. But I know Kyle intervened in overrode at least one defensive call where he called timeout and changed the play because he didn't like what Steve Wilks had called. So there could have been more. If we know of one, there could have been more. Absolutely. So we'll see. Kenny Culp says, unless Joe Gibbs is calling the Niners, Kyle isn't going anywhere. Yeah, Joe Gibbs. I mean, it's funny that's Joe Gibbs is, the one that Kyle, or I guess Mike Shanahan, mixed Joe Gibbs' system with Bill Walsh's system, and that's this outside zone system that we've seen at Kyle. Primarily, there's other elements to it now that Kyle's done, but that's primarily what it is Walsh with some Gibbs. But Gibbs is certainly notable as the only head coach ever to win 3 Super Bowls with 3 different QBs. And I guess somebody was just saying somebody else who won 2 with 2. They're the one who's done that as well too. But it's tough. Most coaches that have multiple Super Bowl wins, they do it all with the same QB typically. I guess technically Seifert won 2 with 2 different because he had Montana at first and Steve Young. Yeah. Sorry, Reg. The Super Bowl is over. Time to move on. Oh, ha ha ha. Yeah, but this is our first show since the Super Bowl, so we got to make sure we comb through all the data. I mean, there was definitely some uncalled holds, like you said, on Bosa. I think there were some uncalled holds on us, not nearly as many. That's frustrating, but I'm not gonna it didn't feel as bad as the first Super Bowl to me.
My whole problem with it is the the stat of all of that is what screws me up. They're the worst penalized team in the season. During the whole season, they were called more for holding than anybody else. Somehow in this Super Bowl, they don't get called once.
Well, it's
But
not
yet
just this Super Bowl,
it's
Mike.
3 Super Bowls. Yeah, but still, that's
Yeah,
what that's amazing to me.
yeah. Well, they were
But they also
against
got it
us in
together.
2019. I don't think they were the worst team for holding in 2019. I think they were more like middle of the road, or
Well, no,
maybe
just this
bottom
year I'm
half.
saying was the worst.
Yeah, no. But then again, no holds. And I get it if it's even, and we're holding and they're not calling it on us, but we weren't holding like that, not even close to that. So
Dude, they were choking Bosa out on a couple of them plays. They were tackling dudes at some point.
yeah, Kenny thinks Brock will continue to get. Yeah, I mean he can definitely get better with anticipation.
Oh, he will. He
Yeah,
will.
I think he will. I mean, like I said, I don't think it'll be like the 22 to 2023 jump. That was a huge leap. But I think he'll make incremental gains over time.
I don't think he has to make another jump like that. I think he's at a level where it only has to be small things moving
Right,
forward.
right. No, that makes sense. The Muppets, good times. Just sad that Casey had to be a witness to something.
Yeah.
Yes, no doubt. Niners need to get King Henry. I don't think he fits our scheme. But if he doesn't fit your scheme, maybe it's time to get a new scheme. Is also probably another thing. In general, I mean, old King Henry, but come on, he's more like Prince or what goes below that, like not Jester.
I don't think you go down. I think he's more of that king that needs he's like going past, so he needs to
King,
like hand it off
King
soon.
with a cane.
Yeah. But I
King
mean,
with a
again, I think
walker.
he's still got a couple good years left, but I think he has had his prime go by
Yeah.
him.
Oh, absolutely. Kenny thinks the Cowboys will get him. Shannon knows with the 6 years, he didn't go anywhere. It is what it is.
See, when I said the 2 years thing, listen, they'll fire him after 2 more years if he doesn't get one, is how I'm looking at it. He might be signed through all that time, but I mean, you're paying him regardless whether he's fired or there, but
Almighty Finesse is incensed. Saquon is going nowhere. Giant for life.
I know you
Oh,
guys
Almighty.
you guys definitely want that to happen, but I don't see him signing there and being like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to stay where there's no quarterback, the coach is sucking."
What do you mean? They got Tommy DeVito. Tommy
I
DeVito.
love DeVito, but I mean that they're going to draft a quarterback, but again, there's going to be a lot of different things going on there.
No doubt. We get mad at Kyle. Let's not forget there are only 2 coaches ever won with different quarterbacks.
We talked about that.
Yeah. And and he lost to Mahomes twice. Let's be honest. And Brady the other time, if you want to count that. I don't count that. Just like how Kyle stepped in with Steve Wilks.
No.
Dan Quinn should have stepped in with Kyle if he didn't think Kyle was running the right thing. Dan Quinn's the head coach. He would have gotten the glory. He gets the blame.
Yeah.
I've never heard of an OC blame, especially when Kyle's scored 28 points against a Bill Belichick defense, and Dan Quinn's defense gave up 25 points in the second half. Like, where's his accountability? It's ridiculous, that narrative. So Kyle has 6 or 7. Yeah, I think this was the 7th season. It's 2017 to 2023. 7, I believe. Kyle isn't going anywhere, no doubt. No, he just got extended before the season started. There were a few of us who grumbled about that, who said there was no need to extend Kyle and Lynch before the season started. And then the way the season went, it's kind of like, oh, maybe I was wrong to doubt it. But now here we are dropping another Super Bowl. And Jed doing his victory laps before the Super Bowl saying, oh, like, we're happy that we beat the Lions. And, and Kyle getting drunk at the pressers before the Super Bowl. Not a good look, Kyle.
Yeah, not at all.
See for John Steve, yeah. Chubb coming back. Was he
he'll be back. he won't be back for the start of the season. He'll be back like a couple of weeks into the season, but I think he'll come back. It's going to take him a while to get his legs going. Listen, no, hell no. Danny Dimes is not going to Vegas. I swear. Antonio Pierce would chew that dude up and bury him in the desert. Listen, they need to go get Russell.
He can throw to Brandon Ayuk there.
Ayuk, dude, I better be worried. You guys better be worried Ayuk go to KC.
He's not going anywhere. It's just like with Debo. It's just posturing. I just wish he had waited a few days, like literally coming out with it on
they
the
got to pay him?
Yeah, we're going to pay him.
All right, well, I'm just saying.
He's also probably wants to be on a real pass-first team, though, pass-happy scheme like the Chiefs, rather than one like the Niners where we run it more than most other teams.
Yeah.
So that's, plus we have CMC and Debo and Kittle. It's tough to get targets when you got those cats.
That's another thing. I mean, Conley stepped up in a big way in that Super Bowl, I think. I think that was a hell of a thing. Conley, the way he played, he had some good catches.
Man, I've been on Conley ever since camp. I said he should be on the 53-man roster. And he had a great camp. Honestly, it was like Ayuk had the best camp. And then probably Kinlaw, and he's been playing well this season. And then Conley was probably a third. I mean, and I'm going to leave the obvious one off of there because we've beaten that to death, and he's no longer a 49er, and I'm just not going to sing his praises. But I thought Trey Lance had the best camp of any quarterback, honestly, for what it's worth. I mean, I knew that Purdy was probably going to end up being starting quarterback because of what he did in 2022. But I wanted to see more of a real competition. I wanted to see Trey Lance play with CMC. Like we never saw that. Never saw that. Barely saw him with Kittle. Those guys are absolute difference makers, as we all know.
Well, you'll see him with CD Lamb. Trey Lance will be throwing a CD soon enough. So
you think so? You think they're going to push Dak out?
I'll tell you right now, if Dak doesn't do what needs to be done next year, that's all he's got left. I mean, I can see Jerry Jones saying, "Screw it, we're going to bench you now. You'll ride it out. I'm going to put in Trey Lance, see what we got before the draft."
Please not Sam Darnold, Kenny. Please not Sam Darnold. I think we really got lucky that we never had to count on him this season. But Kyle likes him, so and no one else is going to make him an offer. I guarantee you that.
He'll be in the He'll be in the UFL.
You don't think he'll stay as our backup again?
No, I'm saying like if he's not your backup, that's where he goes.
Yeah, he's done dealio.
Right away, no, he's gonna have to gain his legs back, and I think it'll take some time. But I think eventually he will be. I mean, when he came back off that injury in Georgia, he was an amazing back after that injury. I don't know.
This was an ACL. This was an MCL, right? Tear, like non-surgical MCL tear. Was that right?
Oh, he had 2 surgeries.
Oh, he did. Okay, so it was
he had 2 surgeries within a month. He had 2 surgeries, so he's recovering. That's why they're saying it's going to take a little longer, and he won't be back until like 5 weeks in, I think.
Cool. Well, prayers up. I hope he does come back 100% or 110%, whatever. That's always a bummer, and hopefully early in the season for you guys.
Yeah,
he's a real beast. I think one of the few people that's in that real conversation with CMC is number 1 back in the NFL. Ayuk was a BCB fave receiver. I'm not sure I know what that stands for. But Brock Purdy, I guess. Big, you know what, Brock. There you go. It rhymes with Brock. BA follows Sam. That's funny. That's good. So you think Sam's going to be a Raider too? That I could see. The Raiders are an organization that might like Sam Darnold.
No, Antonio Pierce ain't allowing that shit to happen.
I mean, I guess it wasn't him who took Jimmy, but I'm like, hey, if they took Jimmy,
No, yeah, I think Antonio Pierce. I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know why they haven't already jumped on it. I'd have got Russell Wilson just because you know he's going to play lights out for at least 2 games, no matter what. He's going to tear the Broncos up every single time he sees them.
There you go. Almighty Finesse would love Ayuk on the Giants. Yeah, Ayuk's an incredible wide receiver. He blocks. He runs great routes.
I mean, he
He could
would
have a
be
little bit.
nice right next to Hyatt.
He's got decent yak and decent hands. I wouldn't say great hands, but not bad hands either. Definitely not as drop prone as like Debo or I think Juwan Jennings has the most drops for us per attempt. Sam, I am. Oh no, Bryant, let it go, baby. Here we go. Yeah, yeah, that's how most of us feel. Ayuk with Hyatt would be
Yeah, that'd be
fired.
crazy with them two over there in the Giants if they had someone to throw him the ball.
Jennings to the Titans. I could see that. Rand Carthon is over there, so you know he's probably making the pitch for that. When Sam came in, he threw an in. We also came in and fumbled the ball away when we were trying to get a drive down to get Moody a field goal to win the game against the Rams. Hopefully get him some confidence back. And he just says, here you go. You guys take this ball. I didn't want it anyway. Sam Darnold. Oof. Yeah. Would you sign Minshew or Brissett as a backup QB?
Minshew about to have a starting job somewhere.
I think Minshew's easily the best backup in the NFL.
I think he's gonna start somewhere. Somewhere he's gonna have a job.
Yeah, and then if you're the best
Go to
backup,
Denver,
yeah.
to be honest. Denver
It's
could
not
take
a big
Minshew.
leap.
I could see that.
It's not a big leap if you're the best backup to get a starting job. Yeah, no, I could see
I would
that.
love Brissett to be on your team, backing you guys up. Brissett's a quality backup. I think he'd be all right. I mean, he did great for us when Watson went down. He played great for us that year.
There you go. We'll sign at least one QB in the draft and draft.
No, yeah.
Oh, and draft, I think he's saying. Yeah, I mean, you can't really draft a QB and make him your backup, though. I mean, that's a developmental player. Most likely. I don't think
Yeah, 'cause he's
Kyle
gonna be in the late rounds.
is going to want a rookie QB to be his backup. I think we're going to draft tackle. I mean, I think I'm not going to say we're going to anymore because we should have drafted tackle last year and we didn't. But let's say we need tackle, we need linebacker, we need corner, guard. Those have to be the top 4 priorities for us. And I still have always said a tight end who can block and catch because Warner can only block and Dwelly can only catch. So they're both half tight ends. Maybe 2. Yeah. Have a competition. 1 undrafted. Yeah. I agree. Wilson and Kyler on the move.
I think Kyler stay put. I mean, Wilson's going to definitely be somewhere because he's already on the move. But I would love him in LA or Las Vegas.
Ooh, I wouldn't. I guess he's out of the division at least. That's fine.
Yeah, I would love Wilson in Vegas.
That's
Just
a
because
good way to
I want to see the Broncos
Broncos too, isn't it?
They need tormented like no other for what they did. For how they went about that, that is
Yeah.
nah, screw that whole organization for that
I
shit.
just am not a big Raiders fan. And like I said, I don't want any reason for Ayuk to go there because he's already mentioned the Raiders. But Russ would be a pretty good reason. Yeah. I feel he's definitely still seems to have some gas left in the tank. Jesus M in the house, playing Niner Gang. Yes, draft a QB to learn the system. Spencer Rattler, draft a mid-rounds. Niners D-line needs to rotate starters to keep fresh. We need that bookend to go across from Bosa for sure. We've been looking forever. Chase Young started to look like it in the Super Bowl, but come on, you can't just do it 1 out of 12 games.
Yeah, he did show it was crazy when he got that sack. I was like, oh shit, look at this dude.
But then he disappeared the rest of the game. So
yeah, then he was there, but yeah, he was getting held.
Yeah, that's true.
This John thing, I heard it, then I heard it was a rumor, then heard that it was the NFL could still, punish him for stuff That was way back then, even though he was already suspended. And I'm like, man, dude, this has got to be done. Be done with this shit. New cases is just, yeah. If there's new cases, to me, it's no. That I wouldn't even say. That's like me coming out and saying, "Well, I did it too. I massaged him, and he did all that to me." Like anybody could say it then.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I don't know what the right answer is there. I just kind of stay out of that conversation.
And
But
it's
you,
2
as a
years
Browns
removed
fan, you
from
should
that
have an
now.
opinion.
This is too much. 2, 3 years removed.
Yeah, where were you back when they were all
Yeah,
initially?
that's what I'm saying. That would be my argument, my defense for him. Like, yeah, why didn't you come out when all this was going down?
Oh, then they say, "Oh, I was too upset," and I don't know. Anyway,
For 3
I don't want
years?
to downplay it, and I don't
He was
want
upset for 3 years.
to. Yeah, I know. I don't want to. There's no good side of this one for me to be on, so I'm gonna
It's
just.
crazy to me. It's just crazy. Like, I couldn't believe whether it was a dude or a woman or anything. I don't care what it is. What the charge was or anything for anybody. I'd be like, "Dude, you're 3 years down the road, now all of a sudden you're speaking up after everybody already went through all this? Nah, we're good."
Yeah, they should have a statute on it for sure. Jesus says needed number 2 RB because CMC's legs were falling off. Kyle won't use him though. We do. We have a number 2.
Yeah,
We have Elijah
Mitch,
Mitchell. We
dude,
have
that dude
Mason.
was good, and he even had a couple good runs.
Yeah, Mason's good. They're no, it's just Kyle won't use them. So don't waste any draft or trade capital on running backs. I
Listen, there
thought
is no
maybe
running backs in this draft. You got 3 good ones, and then you have a bunch of mids to trash. And you're not gonna get one of the good ones unless you draft it high because Brooks, Quorum, and, the dude from Tennessee are gonna be gone.
Jesus says no more Chase Young, no more Javon Kinlaw, no more Randy Gregory. I'm
Yeah,
not so
Young's
sure
probably
about
gone.
Javon Kinlaw. I think Kinlaw wants to stay. And if he'll take a decent deal, like a more prove it deal, 1 year or 2 year deal, I think we'll sign him because we used up that number 13 pick. It would be nothing better than to make him, make it work. I think Kinlaw might surprise some people. Kinlaw doesn't fit. I don't know. Kinlaw's see, Kenny's saying Kinlaw may return. DJ Jones available? I don't know. Is he? I'd love to get him back. Our run defense has suffered ever since he left. Him and Armstead in the middle were a stone wall for the run game, paired with Dre and Fred. Obviously, we won't have Dre for most of the season, most likely, which is a real bummer. But maybe time to draft a linebacker too.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed off if the Niners get Brian Burns. We've wanted
Brian
him
Burns, that would be a
forever.
hell of a thing.
We've wanted Brian Burns for a long, long time. But is he a free agent? I didn't realize. If he is,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
wow, that would be a hell of a bookend for both. It's too expensive though. He's expensive and he deserves to be expensive. Like he's worth it too.
Yeah.
So but I guess never say never. But I'd say super unlikely Almighty Finesse. I wouldn't worry. Don't let it keep you up at night. Mitchell can't stay healthy. Yeah, well, he stayed healthy this year because Kyle didn't use him. But at least use him until he does get hurt. Why not? Why not let CMC? Just because he trusts CMC so much, and he was so afraid of losing, he just would never let anybody but CMC be in there. And part of it is because CMC is such a great blocker and route runner, but also he's a great runner too. Bobby G says it's the same case that was unsettled. He may have to testify again. That's all.
Oh, well, then it's nothing.
This draft coming up is great unless you need a running back. And we don't.
There's great quarterbacks. You got a bunch of quarterbacks. You got a bunch of good offensive linemen. There's deep defensive players all over the damn place. Wide receivers all over the place. Yeah, running backs, there's 3.
Mitchell doesn't fit anymore. Mitchell career in doubt. Okay.
I don't know about career being in doubt.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with that. Clelin Ferrell will be back. I'd like to have him back. He was good at setting the edge. Kerry Hyder available. Now let's move on from Kerry Hyder. He's a solid player. He's just old. He's just old. He was old when he came here the first time, let alone the second time. No more Burks. Play the rookies, Winters, and Graham. Yeah, the thing with Warren Burks is that he's so great on special teams, so he's going to make the roster based off of that. So he's a natural.
Play him on special teams.
Yeah, no, but I would like to see D. Winters and Jalen Graham, the rookies. They both have flashed. Both have looked good for sure. Yeah, we draft good at LBs. Well, we have. We'll see. Those two are TBD. Yeah. But Wilks left. Burns won't like it. True. Although I don't know how attached Brian Burns. Well, I think they all were attached. I mean, like they didn't want Frank Reich, and maybe you can see why, because the Panthers got worse. If that's possible.
I don't think Frank Reich was called. He wanted Stroud, and the ownership overruled him and took Young. Oof. So I think that whole thing was in doubt, anyways.
Wow,
that's what happened there.
I mean, I was definitely a Stroud guy myself. I thought Bryce
over Young. No Alabama quarterback has ever been great. Like recently, none.
Tua is the best.
Well, Tua recently, yeah, and he's got to have all that around him to be that.
Yeah, same with Hurts. They have two of the cushier QB.
Listen, Hurts was Oklahoma too. No real Alabama quarterback, like guy that played all Alabama, has been anybody. If the Giants take Malik Neighbors over a quarterback, then you guys got more problems than you need. You're gonna have a bunch of talent out there with nobody to throw him the ball.
He's a receiver.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors is the receiver from LSU.
Not familiar. All right.
I mean, he's great. He's a monster, but yeah, no.
Got Anshul in the house for Nerds Media. Make sure you guys come check us out tomorrow at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. I haven't made the show yet, Anshul, but I will. I'll make it by tonight, I swear. Ask Mike. I'm usually pretty good. I was late this morning, but usually I get it, at least a shell of a show out so that you can have the link the night before. And then maybe I'll fine-tune the title and thumbnail the next morning when I have some quiet time before the kids get up and the house gets crazy. Got Portola 45 in the house. Why is nobody talking about what Will Compton said from Bussin' with the Boys? Said Will played for the NFL. Refresh my memory. I honestly have it bookmarked somewhere and I could go find it, but if you could refresh us, or I'll start searching for it. But bottom line is I don't remember exactly what he said.
Payne Holmes is a very good one. Pam Holmes.
I guess that's Pat Mahomes. So you're saying if the Browns didn't draft Mitch Trubisky and they drafted Pat,
the Bears, you mean? Yeah.
Number 2 overall. Do you feel the same?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Okay, so maybe that's what Compton was saying about. I think that's what it was. He was saying that Pat Mahomes is a system quarterback.
He's a great talent. Period.
System quarterback. We've never seen him without Mahomes, or we never seen him without Andy Reid. Never seen him without.
Well, that's the problem. You never seen it like that, and I feel like things would have been different for the Bears. I feel like the whole thing would have changed. They wouldn't be what they are now. I think they'd be a lot different.
They'd be better, but they wouldn't be the Chiefs either.
No, not right. Not as fast as they were. Not as fast as the Chiefs became the Chiefs. Yeah, no. It wouldn't have been that fast.
No, I mean, they might have wrecked him. Just like we might have wrecked Aaron Rodgers if we had drafted him in 2005 instead of Alex Smith. Everybody say, "Oh, well, if the Niners had drafted Aaron Rodgers," I'm like, well, we had no line and no coaching and no weapons. And
what if the Browns would have drafted half the damn quarterbacks they should have damn drafted? I mean,
you can make that argument for the Niners in 2017 too, with Mahomes. If we had drafted him, we might have wrecked him with a line that can't pass block, without weapons, a defense that wasn't very good back then. Like, not wrecked him, but I mean, it might have delayed his development. He might not have ever been the GOAT. You never know. You never know. I mean, I think he would have still been very good. He's clearly
Again,
very
I'm not
talented.
saying he's going to be going to Super Bowls and championships like he did with the Chiefs by any means.
Almighty Finesse is still on Neighbors. He's a beast.
Oh, he is a beast. Neighbors is a beast.
Luke Kuechly raves about Steve Wilks. Luke's a smart guy. It's so hard for me to call people goats. Yeah, because Montana's the goat. That's why. All this Brady and Mahomes stuff.
See, to me, greatest of all time. There's so many of them, so it's not like everybody's the greatest of all time. But
yeah, it's the greatest of that era, kind of thing.
Yes, I trust him.
Mahomes
100%.
is the GOAT of this era, just like Brady was the GOAT of the last era, and Mahomes or Montana before that. Mike, do you trust Watson as your QB next season?
100%. 100%. Listen, as the season was progressing, he got better and he was showing what he could do. I mean, he played hurt in the second half of that Baltimore game and gave us one of the best halves of football we've ever seen. And then he was hurt. I'm cool. I think he'll be perfectly fine.
Kenny says Mahomes would suck on the Bears worse than Fields. No,
he would not have been worse than Fields. Mahomes can throw the ball better than Fields, and he's better IQ than Fields. Fields is a good quarterback, but he's not no Mahomes.
No. Jesus said CJ would have struggled with the Panthers. That I agree with.
I mean, any quarterback right now is you got no offensive line and barely any weapons, yes, but CJ could at least see over the damn offensive line.
There you go. Exactly. Shardall Gupta in the house. Welcome, Shardall. Sean missed a lot of time. Yes. Xavier Legit.
Yes. Listen, that kid is good. That would be a great fit.
For the Niners?
Yeah, if you guys lose Ayuk and stuff, yeah, dude.
Interesting.
What's going on?
Hi. Oh, here we go. Sounds
Games
like my wife.
Fixed.
Games are fixed. I say they're not fixed; they're just facilitated, But there's clearly some tinkering goes on. I mean, that's clear as day.
Yeah.
But fixed, I don't know. I don't know if I go that far. Fields is bad.
I think he's the quarterback that you couldn't put in that system and expect him to do something with anything. Like, it would have to be an elite quarterback you put in there, and he could have probably brought him out of it, but Fields isn't the guy you bring into that situation. Like, if he goes to the Steelers, like they're saying that may happen, I think that would be a better thing for him because Mike Tomlin can make sure he gets the best out of him.
Yeah, real quick, Kenny, name me a Bears offensive lineman who's any good since Fields has been there. Name me a weapon besides DJ Moore.
Besides DJ Moore now.
Yeah. Name me a weapon. So, like, if you don't got weapons, you don't got protection, you don't got nothing. Even all QBs need at least decent protection and at least reliable weapons. If you don't have that, you're gonna look bad.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's a little small for QB. Tinkering at least. I agree. Bears defense.
Oh, yeah, their defense is great. They got good defensive players, stars that are going to come out. Jalen Johnson, like, they got some good guys over there.
TJ Edwards, Montez Sweat.
Yep.
They got a good defense for sure. Jalen Johnson's going to get a bag.
Yeah.
No, that Bears defense is legit for sure.
I can see that. Yeah, he had David Montgomery.
That's a running back. That's not.
Yeah, he had David Montgomery. Yeah, and the tight end, they had Cole Kmet. They still got him now. I mean,
yeah.
The problem is again, if you still can't get protected, then it's no good. That running back ain't going to be any good without protection either. That's why Montgomery isn't there no more. That's why he's a Lion.
But his number one receiver.
You saw what Montgomery did on the lines with the best O-line in the league, right? I mean, 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he and Jahmyr Gibbs, put them together, you got CMC. So
Yeah.
yeah. And for the longest time, Fields' best receiver was Darnell Mooney. I mean, come on, dude. Guys,
Well, yeah, Darnell Mooney. Say Almighty Finesse says it down there in the chat. Listen, Darnell's
that
not
is
gonna be
not a
Darnell
wide
could be on
receiver
some other
one.
team.
That is not a wide receiver one, folks. Let's
No,
not
he's a
play.
2, maybe 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Cole Kmet. That's he's not that good either, though. Let me just
No,
tell you.
he's decent, but he's not like
He's big, he's tall, but he's not that good.
no.
Okay, yeah, you guys don't dislocate your shoulders patting each other on the back.
But DJ Moore is a 1.
DJ Moore absolutely is a 1, and you saw Fields start to do well once he had a wide receiver 1 finally. So
And now they're talking about getting rid of him, which I'll tell you right now. Let me lay this out right now for the Bears. They trade that pick. They go down about 2 or 3 spots. They pick up some more draft capital. They pick up Marvin Harrison. They draft the O tackle from Penn State at 9 if he's not gone. And then they build on that. Leave Fields alone. Let him be there and do your thing.
yeah, I agree. I to a point. I mean, at some point you got to pay Fields, though. That's the problem, and that's coming up.
Well, and that so see what you got and then worry about it. But you
Yeah.
got to build anyways, because what are you gonna do? Get another quarterback and still have no weapons, have no offensive line? It's gonna be the same thing over again. So build that now while you have a quarterback already contracted
And if
that
it doesn't work out, then you move
he can
on.
run and throw. He's shown you, he proved it to you that he can do it. You just got to add pieces to it.
All my finesse says they're going to take Caleb.
Listen, if they take Caleb, the Bears might as well just sink because that dude's gonna cry to his mom every time the Bears lose, and they're gonna lose a lot.
Oh man, that was pretty famous.
He's gonna go need to sit with his dog at home, like he said he has to do after losses, go pet his dog and stuff. Listen, Caleb Williams is the drama queen, and I would never, ever want him. I don't care how good a talent he is. I wouldn't want him on my team. Because somebody's gonna beat the hell out of him in the locker room. Someone's gonna whoop his whole ass.
Bam. Man up. Don't overpay Fields because his progression doesn't match his overpay. But I mean, that's the whole point. If you can use that against him in a negotiation, I mean, I'm sure he's not going to get that much money, in his extension. But I guess that's the problem. Even the minimum money for a starting quarterback is what, like 40 mil? Realistically, 37. Could you go 35 like Geno Smith? I don't think so, because Geno had been around forever, right? It's a little bit different.
Yeah. And again, he's already on a contract, so you don't got to do nothing. Just let him play that out and then see what happens.
That's true. What this is his 5th year option will be next year, right?
Yeah, so I'll have to pick that up next year, right? Is that what you're
right
saying?
now, this offseason, you have to pick it up this offseason.
And I'm picking it up and I'm seeing what I got.
Yeah.
Granted, you're going to get another first round pick. You sell that first overall, you're getting another one next year. So you're going to have 2 again next year. I'm taking the risk because there's going to be quarterbacks that come out next year too. And you got to think the team you sell that pick to is going to be in the top 6, 7 right now. They're not going to make that major leap where their pick is going to be in the 20s. So that pick's probably going to be top 10, top 15, and then your pick. And you could trade both of them, move all the way up if you want to grab a quarterback. I'm risking it because I want to add talent to that line and another piece for him to throw the ball to, and let's see what we got. Because that defense is already good. You just need the offensive line and weapons. You could fix it with both those top 10 picks and then add draft picks.
There you go. Almighty Finesse was asking if you think the Giants will move up to get from 6
could see it,
to 1.
But I don't think they need to. I think they could, because I mean, you got to look at Caleb's going to go to whoever's got 1. You got Jalen Daniels, Drake May, they're all going. I mean, the Giants can get Penix. I mean, JJ McCarthy will be around. Bo Nix. I feel like the Giants need to get some veteran quarterback in there right now because you don't want to put in a rookie and throw him right in the middle of that. A rookie quarterback in New York right off rip is never good. You need at least a year to let him sit there.
So Commanders and Patriots both need quarterbacks too, right? 2 and 3.
They're grabbing quarterbacks. That's automatic. Jalen Daniels, like I said, two's the Commanders. Drake May's probably going there. Jalen Daniels probably going to the Patriots unless they move up to get Caleb. Whoever switches, you know, they're saying Penix is going to be drafted by the Falcons at 8. JJ McCarthy will be up in there somewhere. I don't know. I don't. If they really think he's the one, go for it.
Kenny agrees with you.
Yes.
Says Ayuk cried.
Yeah, after the Super Bowl, maybe. That's a little different than just some regular game.
Kenny says, I also don't like Caleb. There's some doubts for sure about him. I mean, just again, look at the weapons he had at USC, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's that. They're saying the defense was the big problem, but I've seen him. I saw him mess up a lot too. Everyone's so flat. Oh, well, he had 4 touchdowns, but what else did he do wrong while throwing 4 touchdowns? See, that's another thing right there.
Was it Justin? I don't think
Yeah.
it was. I thought it was before Justin Fields.
No.
It was before
Fields.
No. Fields came out way after Burrow. It was the one
Fields was out before Burrow.
It was way before Justin Fields. It was the guy who's no longer with us, who went to the Commanders.
No, he was out a long time ago. Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins was the quarterback at Ohio State.
I think so was Fields, though.
No. Fields came way later. Fields just came out in the same draft as
Fields is going on 5 years.
2021. But Burrow came out in like 2018, 2019.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was Fields too.
2019, 2020. It was before Fields for sure, by a good bit. Because remember, Burrow got injured his first year. Then
I know what happened with Burrow. Yeah, he graduated from Ohio State. Then went and played his last couple years of eligibility at LSU.
I'm pretty sure it was Dwayne Haskins, man, or Cardell Jones. Was it even him? Like it was somebody before Justin Fields.
It wasn't Cardell Jones. Cardell Jones came out in 2017 because they won the first championship. I don't know. I think Wilson goes to Atlanta and they draft Harrison. They would have to move up the draft Marvin Harrison, Kenny. And there's no, because as far as I'm concerned, Harrison isn't following. If Harrison's there at 5, he's going to the Chargers. So he's not falling past that. Even though they talk about Brock Bowers. Look, they say Burrow and Fields competed to replace Haskins. Burrow lost and transferred to LSU.
All right. I guess there's just 1 year before Fields. It was 2020. Burrow. I thought he was.
That's what I was thinking. I knew it was in the middle of all that whole thing because Burrow was there for both of them, but Haskins beat him out too.
There you go. All right. Fair enough.
That's when they brought Fields over because he was Georgia and he transferred over to Ohio State.
I'll take Caleb over Brock Purdy. I wouldn't. I'll tell you right now, I would not take Caleb.
No, you don't want Caleb. I mean, that's another thing.
Brock Purdy is a proven commodity in the NFL. It's so rare to have, and who is not peaked. Yeah, no, I'm not taking. The only person I'm taking over Purdy is like, well, there's a few, but Mahomes, Josh Allen, Burrow, Aaron Rodgers.
Caleb might need good weather to play too. You don't know.
Yeah.
He goes over there to New York and it's snowing and cold. He might not be good for him.
Question for the Niners fan: would you rather go after Bill Belichick or stick with Shanahan? And we're talking about Belichick as our DC, dude, not as our HC. No, I don't want Bill Belichick for my head coach. I don't want him for my defensive coordinator. If I have my pick, I want Mike Vrabel for our defensive coordinator.
Is he too big though? He scares people because he's a big guy.
I think
he's
intimidating. I think Belichick is done.
What is the dumbest thing I ever heard?
He had a great career, but and would Belichick even want to be a defensive coordinator? I don't know, but no, I mean, I definitely stick with Kyle over Belichick for a head coach. No doubts, because we don't have Tom Brady. That's why we don't have Tom Brady. And maybe some people are saying like, oh, if you get Belichick, Brady will come out of retirement. I don't even think you want Brady coming out of retirement.
Why does people do that?
They're crazy.
Belichick took a Matt Castle team to they should have been in the playoffs, but they lost out by a tiebreaker. Matt Castle. Come on now. Listen, everybody's acting like, well, Brady won all those championships. Well, yeah, but without the defense Belichick built, there wouldn't have been no damn championships.
Oh, I agree that it was both. I just think
he needed someone to run the offense because Belichick is not offensive minded at all whatsoever. Brady's, Brady. It wasn't JT Barrett. Yeah, Steamin' Willie Beeman, the Sharks. Any given Sunday, I like that. Yeah, three quarterbacks could be 4 quarterbacks going.
So Caleb Williams, Drake May,
Jalen Daniels. That's 3 right there.
Huh. And then obviously Marvin Harrison.
No, because the Cardinals are 4th. They're keeping Kyler, and they're probably going to draft tackle. They might go tackle. They're not grabbing a wide receiver. They're not going Harrison. The Bears are going to get Harrison. Wherever they move down to, they're grabbing Harrison. And they're not going to go further than 5th, I don't believe. And the Chargers are 5th. They're saying Brock Bowers is going to the Chargers, but I feel like if Harrison's there, they're grabbing Harrison. He won't be there at 8. The Falcons are 8th. That's the pick they have. He's not going to fall that far.
Brock not proven to book film out.
What? Brock not proven?
I mean, not without all the weapons that he had. I hear that, but
well, yeah, I hear you. Everyone's going to hear that until he does it without weapons. Then yeah.
I just don't think he's take a shot on a rookie quarterback where it's just such a high bust rate, even with a great setup. Imagine the Niners hire Rex Ryan. I like Rex Ryan.
He was trying to go after the Cowboys job, and he got beat out.
He'd be second for me after Vrabel. Sexy Rexy. Bring it on. Lamar Herbert, Allen Mahomes, Burrow, everyone is fighting for a QB position. But I have Purdy not far back behind that. Drake May is trash.
I don't know, man. Drake May put up some good numbers. If that's the case, you can go back and, again, you can look at it like Brock Purdy. You can call Brock Purdy trash? It was at Iowa State and put up numbers. He just had a good-ass junior year, and his senior year was full of nobodies. Yeah, it's too pricey for Atlanta to move up just for a wide receiver. That ain't happening. You calling him Phillip Rivers? Phillip Rivers was a good-ass quarterback.
He was definitely a lot taller, that's for sure.
He was taller, and he was a good-ass quarterback. He just didn't have – the only year he really had everything that he needed was 2010, and then he didn't have special teams. That's the reason why they had the best offense and defense. They were number 1 in both categories that year. And the special teams, they couldn't make field goals, and they were messing up on all sorts of shit on special teams, and it cost them going to the playoffs. But I love Phillip Rivers. Got, 1 million kids?
I mean, one of the best to never get it done. Phillip Rivers. I mean, obviously that's Dan Marino is topping the list. Dan Fouts up there on that list.
Oh, Dan Fouts, Dan Marino, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Phillip Rivers. I don't know, who else is the top QB who'd never won it all?
Well, I mean, Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. He ain't win shit. And that's what I can see that too. They're just saying that comparison.
I think Matt Ryan's in that conversation though.
I don't think he's no go, but I think he's in a Phillip Rivers conversation.
Okay. Fair enough. What else we got here? Kenny likes Rivers. Matt Ryan, there we go. Special teams. Why we lost. Yeah. That was frustrating. Ray came out. Ray came out and he said, "I'm a playmaker. I'm there to make plays." Like defending.
He made one all right.
The biggest one of the Chiefs' day. Oh, that was frustrating. Kyle kind of said the same thing too. Like, my reasoning was sound in that game or something like that. Like, basically, like, not gonna like really look at what I did and see where I went wrong because I didn't go wrong. I mean, I get it. We did go to OT and it was close to winning, but man, Matt is mad, tall, and skinny. Rivers went playoffs on your leg, yeah.
I think good guy in the Western.
Sean Alexander has 12 kids.
Listen, I think Phillip Rivers has got 13 or 14.
He's got a ton. I know that.
The dude just keeps knocking them out. Like it's crazy.
Well, he's not knocking them out.
Well, I mean, all right, he keeps knocking them in, and then she's knocking them out. Yeah. The whole thing is you would think he'd come back and play maybe like a Flacco move. All right, I want to come back and get some money real quick.
Seriously. Can't be cheap sending them all through college.
Yep, Nick Cannon's got like 100. Because there's a thing. After you have 10 kids, you don't have to pay child support on any of them.
On any of them?
On any of them. Once you hit 10 or after, the government's like, you don't got to pay child support.
On the next ones, you still got to pay on the first.
I don't know, man. It's weird. You think get 10, you're done with
child like support. Get out of jail free card. I think you'd see more people doing it if that was the case. Oh man,
that's why you see it. People be doing it.
I'm free. Oh man, that's wild.
Yeah, he does, man. That dude he does the same thing, knocks him in and lets him knock out by every woman he sees. I feel like the whole cast of over there, they got it all. That shit's crazy. Wilding out, all them girls that come out there on stage, they all probably pregnant. How I grade the Browns O-line, if healthy, I think they're one of the best in the league, if healthy.
Yeah,
and we get rid of the trash can, Jed Willis. Get rid of that trash can.
Eagles, Lions, Cowboys.
Yeah. They're right up there. They're right up there. I mean, you got to think Batonio Wyatt, the center. I can't ever pronounce his damn name for some reason, but and then now you got DeJuan Jones.
You guys get Posick? Is that the one from?
Yeah, Seattle? Posick. There it is. I always want to say something else. I always want to say pie or something. But DeJuan Jones now, and to be honest, the guy that jumped in for Willis, who he picked up off the street, I don't even know where he came from. Christian Jr., that dude played great, played better than Willis ever has. So, I mean, get rid of Willis, move DeJuan Jones to left tackle, and let Conklin stay. And I think that O-line will be amazing.
There you go. Yeah, I give him a high grade myself. Absolutely. Oh boy. Kenny. Anything else you got going on this week that you want to promote, talk about?
Saturday, the cheap seats 4 to 6 on my channel. We're also live on Roku, the Northeast Streaming Sports app. If you got Roku TV, we will be having the mock draft guru. He will be on there. Sunday, it's going to be the old men and the kids because my co-host from the cheap seats, him and his son are joining me and my son on there. We'll talk some sports. And then again, Sports Madness on Sunday night, again on Roku and on my YouTube channel. And then next Wednesday, Relax Wednesday, and my AFC North show I have with Bobby G. And then right back here, Faithful Dogging It.
Nice. Love it. As I mentioned, I got Ontrol from 49ers Media coming on tomorrow at 1. Bashar and I usually do Ball with Bash and Ted Fridays at 3, but I have a doctor's appointment for my son at 3. So I don't know, we might try 4 o'clock. I'll keep everybody posted. And I'll just say thanks. Yeah. Chris said they have a good O-line about the 49ers. Huh. Yeah, good if you're Chris Jones. Not good at blocking Chris Jones.
Well, Chris Jones is a monster.
Yeah.
Someone asked when you're doing another open mic night earlier.
Possibly next Wednesday when at 3:30. We'll see. I'm keeping the spot open though for for booked guests. But if nobody claims that spot, I might do another open mic night. That was fun last night. So
there you go.
We'll see. But yeah, I'll just say thanks to everybody. Obviously a bummer about the 49ers. I'd say we'll be back, but no Super Bowl losing team has ever been back to next year. Except for
no.
The Dolphins.
Patriots did it. The Dolphins did it, and one other team. I want to say the Niners. The Niners didn't do it. Patriots and Dolphins definitely. The Patriots did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Patriots did do it.
And did they win?
That's when they or did they do it backwards? They won and they went back and lost. Maybe they did it backwards.
I think it's nobody but the Dolphins has ever been back.
Or maybe
that's
they
like
went back
we're talking
to back.
like 71 or
Patriots
72.
have gone back to back and won back to back. They just never went.
After they
you know what they did?
They
won 1 year, they lost to Philly, and then they won the next year again.
You sure?
Yeah,
to the Rams?
I'm sure they had that break because I went over this with Bobby. I think me and Bobby have talked. Did this just yesterday. I think we did this. Was it me and Bobby? Because we went over that.
I think there was a year in between.
Well, yeah, when they did that because they beat the Falcons, lost to the Eagles, and then they beat who the hell they beat after that?
Rams.
The Seahawks was involved in one of those ones. Seahawks, Seahawks and Falcons were the losses, and the Eagles were in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, Buffalo, Patriots, and Dolphins. There it is. Bobby says Buffalo, Patriots, and Dolphins because that's what we were talking about because Buffalo has done it.
Oh, Buffalo, right.
they did it 4 times in a row.
Right, that's true. That's true.
They said we like L's.
I guess the only team that went back and won it was the Dolphins.
No, I swear to God, the Patriots did it. They lost to the Eagles and went back and won the next year.
The Patriots didn't lose back to back, so yeah. Then if they went,
they lost to the Eagles, then they went and won. They beat the Falcons the next year. And then I swear to God, they beat the Seahawks the year before.
You're right. All right. My bad. Well, it's very rare that teams.
It is rare. It is a rare thing.
Let alone win it. But
he's chanting he wants that spot.
And no quarterback that's ever lost the Super Bowl debut has ever been back. I know that's a fact, but Brock Purdy's never done
wants that spot.
A lot of things have never been done until Brock Purdy did them. So hopefully he'll do that as well. Cool. Well, again, thanks everybody. And I'll just say peace and go Niners.